Hey, this is
Hi,
Matt
it's Freddie, and welcome again to This and That with Freddie.
and Matt, this guy right here.
Today we have our longtime buddy and friend Troy Seele here, and I think he's frozen. Oh no, he's just
He's just that still.
he's just that still.
He was in stalker mode. He was just kind of like.
Yeah. So a lot of you know Troy from us sharing the stage together for years, and it's good to talk to you, man. So I know you're still playing with the Y Store and have been for a very long time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So how often are you gigging? Because you seem to be playing all the time.
Yeah. That band plays. I mean, just regionally. We don't call it a world tour. We call it a rural tour.
World.
Rural. But yeah, we play every weekend pretty much. Maybe 4 weekends off a year.
Oh,
And then we do some acoustic shows, just me and the singer, that are sprinkled in there. And right now we're recording an album. So actually, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm going to a studio to work on that today. And it's just it's a fun band that's really just about music, no politics, no problems. I mean, between the guys, because we don't rehearse, we don't practice, we're all in our late 50s, so at this point you better be able to get up there and just play. And the main writer's a good songwriter, so it's just musical. You just get up there and every night's different. Even though we do a lot of shows, we don't have a set list. We just play, and he kicks off the songs, and it's hippie rock. That's definitely nowhere near other things I've done in my life, but it's fun.
Yeah. So you're recording a record band. Are you guys going to be doing like physical copy stuff? Are you going to do any vinyl? I mean, like to do a little throwback stuff to the vinyl. I mean, obviously very popular at this point, but
we're talking about it. The vinyl, I just heard a story about how much vinyl is actually starting to make as much as it did back in the 70s. And
yeah, it's starting to surpass CDs, which I never thought would happen, but in this digital age, I guess it's more nostalgic to have vinyl.
Yeah. I mean, the big problem now is if you try to go to submit something to print, 12-month wait.
Yeah.
Don't have enough places to make stuff, and then there's the supply chain, having the material to do it. But yeah, I mean, at some point we'll probably do that, because he has Chris, I mean, he was signed to MCA. They had hits, now it was back in the 90s, and but he has some very loyal fans that would want stuff like that. And so yeah, he'll do it at some point, but it'll be, like I said, if we had the album done and put it in today, it's going to be a year before we would actually have product. So
right.
Yeah, and then
so
go ahead.
So you guys will probably do a digital release prior to doing something physical, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. They're around here. I mean, I'm in Indiana, and a lot of times we're a little bit behind the times, and people still ask for CDs at the show.
Yeah.
What you do with them now, I don't know. I mean, cars don't even have CD players in them anymore if you have a new one, so I don't know. So we might make some CDs just so we have some product to sell, something to sell at the shows, because that's where you make a lot of your money. It's not playing, it's the selling of the merchandise. So
yeah. I still buy CDs. I buy them all the time.
Yeah,
do you?
me too.
Yep. I just got this in the mail yesterday. Dave Ellison's CD of cover songs. It's pretty badass. So yeah, I buy them all the time. I put a CD player in my car recently.
I figured you were going to put a CD up, and it would be one of those super heavy metal names that you can't read.
Oh, the bundle of sticks kind of names and whatever they're called, the black metal bands.
Yeah.
Huh? Okay.
Freddie's deep dive, black metal, and okay.
No. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. You should make cassettes. There's people making cassettes again just for the novelty of it, you know.
Yeah,
I was
they are.
thinking, Matt, maybe we'll try that a couple times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think Rock of Angels probably get on board with that, man. If we said, hey, we want to do some cassettes,
I'll be like, what?
Huh?
8-track.
Oh, 8-track. Yeah.
Nice.
I think I'll take
Miss that stuff.
Cut up half a song where you go to the others. Yeah, I don't think so.
So one of the things that people probably don't know about Troy is that he's one of the funniest dudes out there. I mean, you may not know to look at him, but he would have the bus cracking up nonstop. Just stuff off the top of your head is just amazing.
Yeah. Well, the what Troy has going for him is it's like when you least expect it kind of thing.
Oh,
just out of the blue. I mean, it could be the most somber. We could have just heard the Pope was killed or something, and Troy would have a joke. So that's sort of the his niche. He wants to disarm everyone. He doesn't want anybody to ever feel too serious. So he'd throw a joke in somewhere.
Oh yeah. That's also and
Yep.
just half of the things, like, I know I improved my sarcasm game after since knowing you.
Yeah, you have to.
Was it you that was going to make the book of Troyisms at one point, Freddie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Speak amongst yourselves.
Oh, you go find it.
He's got to go. He's got to go. Hey, so we are speaking amongst ourselves. So besides the gigging every week or every weekend, what else do you do to fill your time and to help bolster your bank account?
I work at a guitar store.
Boom, there you go. So that segue into that. So you actually get to not only play guitar, which you love, which is obviously your love, but you also get to sell guitars to people that maybe either just starting out or a veteran player. How do you approach that? Do you just, like, when you're selling stuff, or when you're dealing with customers, do you sort of let them come to you, or are you more of an active participant in people's purchasing, or whatever they're in the store for?
Yeah.
What the
Part for the most part, somebody walks into a guitar store, Walmart,
Almost there.
where people going in to browse, and they might need a couple. I mean, if you're going to a guitar store, you're going for a specific reason,
right? Hang on, we're gonna have to wait until Freddie is done screwing around with whatever he's doing, because you're cutting out. I just want to make sure that we can hear you.
Oh my God.
What the hell is he doing? Hey, Freddie, I think we lost Troy.
Oh,
yeah. No, I'm not. I'm here. Wait.
Okay. All right.
I swear I have it.
We lost the video.
There you are. Oh, you're all over the place now.
Yeah.
All right. And so are you.
I swear I have that book somewhere.
Oh, really? Yeah, you'll find it later.
Yeah. Well, just you'll have to describe it. So, so Freddie, are you still listening,
For
or
a
are you?
professional thing we're running here, huh?
Uh-huh.
That's good.
Oh, I can't. I thought I
All
could
right,
find it real quick, but go ahead, sir.
So now you'll have to edit a lot. I had asked Troy about a little bit about his day job, and he was talking about he was talking about how he deals with customers and things like that, like either from the the amateur coming in for the first time, or the the professionals that might be coming in. So Troy, go ahead and tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, as the point I was getting to was people come to a guitar store for a reason. It's not like a big variety store where people go to look around and see what's up and see what's new. It's people coming in, they have either have a dream, or they have always wanted to play and now they have time, stuff like that. So really you got to be pretty active, because I can always equate it now. I never realized how people felt coming into a guitar store when they come in and say, I know nothing. They don't know the difference from one instrument to the other. And it was when I'm not from the video game age, and I went to buy my son a PS, whatever it is, the newest gaming system. And I walked into a place and they're like, and went up to the counter. I was like, well, I want to buy a video system, and the questions start. And do you want blah, blah, blah? Do you want blah, blah, blah? What are you using it for? And I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So when somebody walks in, I kind of approach it like that. Especially if they're new to the game, they're wanting help, and they want to. In our store, we're not a big corporate store. We're not a Guitar Center or Sam Ash or anything. It's a store that's been there for 35 years, locally owned. So, we help people. Somebody walks in, you don't have the, 4 teenagers leaning on the counter that don't want to help you at all. And,
right.
and so a lot of it's just educating people right off the bat as to what everything is, that even down to things that you assume they would just naturally know, but they don't. And so that's how I approach it. To go up and see, why are you here? And then, what do you want to play? And here's the prices. Here's why they cost this much and this much. And then
that's important.
Yeah. And it's hard, especially you don't know how to play. It's like trying to drive a car or buy a car without being able to drive it, because you don't know how to drive. Someone can't sit and play and see how it feels to them if they don't know how to play. So, at some point you just got to jump into the pool and buy one. And, and as long as it's a decent instrument, you'll be able to learn them. But then go start trying out stuff. And, I like, Les Paul styles. I like Strat styles. I like whatever. And go from there. And it gains you a lot of customers, once you sincerely help them out. Not jerk their chain. You're not just there to, to make, take their money. You're there to actually try to help them get what they want out of it.
Right. Yep. And so please supply us with the information for your store. I'm sure that there are folks out there that might be watching this that may, want to contact you, reach out, maybe have questions for you. So I don't know. Do you have email link to your store, or would you be?
Yes, we're not really an internet store. We do have a website. It's www.guitarworks, all one word, .com. And then it's located in Greenwood, Indiana. GuitarWorks, again, find it on any MapQuest. And then the phone number is 317-885-1510. So,
all right, cool.
Yeah, we'll put it in the links down below when they get the video out with all the info there.
Yeah. There we go.
So one of my favorite Troy stories, experiences was, to this day, we still say it is what it is. Do you remember how that started, Troy?
No, I don't actually. Kinda, yeah.
So it was my first European tour with Ice Earth ever. This is right when Matt came back. So Matt, you know, had the steady job at the time. Well, you still do, but you're the only one with a steady job at the time.
Yeah.
So he would always be flying back and forth to Europe. Matt would come out and do a couple of festival shows. Me, Troy, and Brent would be stuck in a hotel room in Berlin for like 3 weeks in one room. So Ice Earth's manager at the time, he's like, "Yeah, you guys go. There's a nice room. There's 3 beds in there. Everything's set." We get up there. There's one large bed. And I think I called him. I go, "Hey, yeah, you said there was going to be 3 beds. There's just one." And he goes, "It is what it is." And so Troy and I interpreted that in English to mean tough shit. So anytime something came along on the tours or whatever, and something didn't go the way it was, rather than asking the manager about it, we already knew what he was going to say. We just go, "It is what it is," and it just turned into this whole thing. And
I've ever toured with a band, and if you have a manager that makes the day sheet, and you know, when you're new at it, you read the whole thing, how things are supposed to go all day, and by 2 months in, you just tear the top off of, which is what time we play and when bus call is, because it's going to change. There's nothing goes in a straight line, so you just toss that because that's the way rock bands work. You know, it's there's always going to be a problem and a solution, and the planned, you know, day is out the window. You usually right off the bat. So I always just oh, what time's bus call? That's what I need to know.
that's why those tour books, with all their schedules, that they're called the Book of Lies, because it's just a big waste of paper.
Yeah. And so I still am like fixated on this whole you know, 3 guys with 1 bed thing. I'm just thinking that Brent was probably the meat in that sandwich. Is it the smaller guy?
What ended up happening is they brought in a cot. So Brent and I got to share a king bed together.
Nice.
And Troy was in the cot, kind of like at the foot of the bed, like a Doberman would be.
Yeah. No offense, Troy, but you know, Brent's just a little bit, you know, softer.
Yeah.
From the back, at least, I could feel okay.
Bad long.
And then Troy, you snort a lot, buddy. You
Yeah.
Brent and I actually attempted to wheel you out into the hallway in the middle of the night once, but it didn't really work. I think I think we wheeled you like an inch or two, and then you kind of almost woke up, and we jumped back into bed. But we were like, "We got to roll him into the fucking hallway."
Did you guys try to like MacGyver like a CPAP machine for him or anything like that? You know, some coffee cups and a.
Not MacGyver, more like Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah.
The pillow.
And the point about Brent, Matt, is, you know, it's weird because sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and Brent would be asleep, and it was weird because Freddie would be brushing his hair.
Weird about that.
I don't know why. You know, I'm not.
Tangle. I wanted to untangle.
Well, he's talking about his pubes, I think.
Oh.
That's really the weird part.
Yeah.
Yeah, try to untangle those.
Brent's a sweetheart.
He has unusually long ball hair. That's what
You see what I mean, folks? This is the mild stuff.
Yeah, he's a sleeper. He's a sleeper. He when you least expect it, something just comes out of his mouth.
So yeah, that's basically how I fill my days, stepping back and
Talking about ball hair. I get it.
Yeah.
So in our Let's Bring the Showdown segment of this show, speaking of routines,
Yeah.
You have 2 sons.
I have 2 sons.
And one of them has autism.
Yep.
So I know you've told me in the past a lot about it, and you know, a lot of stuff I didn't know, where you would explain how he liked to set routine, and if one of those things doesn't happen, it affects him, right?
Yeah. Well, not only if one of them doesn't happen, but if it doesn't happen in a certain order. Like if you're going to do A, B, C, and D, and you get A, and you're like, well, let's go do C, and then we'll do B. No, not gonna happen. Yeah. So yeah, there's all types of autism. I mean, there's there's different people on every part of the spectrum. So and there are some people that very high functioning, and you wouldn't even know, that that they're affected. And then there are ones that are like Van, where they're functioning, but they have a lot of problems to deal with because their sensory is completely different than ours. When he was first getting to the age where you put clothes on, it was very hard for him because us three, we can put on a shirt and forget about it. But if you really think about it, you can feel your shirt on you. And to him, he could really feel it. It was like somebody's trying to wrap him in saran wrap or something. So it would drive him crazy. It took years of doing this brushing his skin, to get him used to having clothes on even. So there's a lot that you learn, and every case is different. And but yeah, for him, it's all about schedule, about how you do things in a certain order. And he can have great days, and he can have bad days where it's just for no reason at all. He's fixated on something because you can't tell him what's going to happen. Now that he's older, you can't tell him what is planned for the next Friday 2 weeks from now if he wants to know, because you don't know yet. It's not set in stone of what we're doing, and he might fixate on that. And your two choices are to let him keep asking the questions for 2 weeks straight, or make a plan for that Friday.
Yeah.
Hope that you can stick to it. So
Yeah.
So what are some of the differences from him being a little boy with this to now being a 20-year-old man? Are the challenges the same, just at a different magnitude, or
Yeah, they're the same. Because he's really delayed. So even though he's 20 years old, he's we haven't had him tested for a year, but he's still probably around the 6 or 7 in his mind, as far as like what he specifically knows about our world, when he is involved in our world. And the main thing I always tell people is, like, with him, that he's an extremely happy kid. So he's not a problem. I love him, and to him, he is everything. He's fine. He doesn't know he has autism. He doesn't know that he's struggling. Extremely happy, but he's in his own world. So I, as a parent, decided not to try to pull him into my world. I just live in his world when I'm with him. And we have a great relationship. He's very loving, and he can talk, he can communicate. So at least you can find out if there is something wrong through a long conversation, find out what's actually going on with him, because he doesn't have sometimes the words to describe what he's feeling or what's happening. So sometimes it's just a long process, and you just got to be patient and take your time, and that's it. And it's hard to do sometimes, especially when you have a day yourself where life is happening and things are going crazy, but you just got to hit the stop button and take care of him and see what's up. And usually it's no big deal, and then he'll go on about his business and be fine.
So patience is the key, huh?
Yeah,
One of them, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he likes getting up. Just here's an example of dealing with a kid with autism. He doesn't really know how to tell time, and to him, if the sun comes up, it's daytime. If it's dark, it's night. And so, did a show last night. I told you all I had to go through. Get home at 3:00 in the morning. He had slept at his brother's and then brought him home, got him to bed, and I got to sleep on him about 4 or so, and hoping to sleep till about 9 or so when he goes back to a caregiver, and but he got up at 5. The sun was starting to come up, and so yeah, he's up there waking me up like, hey.
Time to go, Dad.
Yeah, hour and a half sleep, but we up and explained to him it's not time to get up yet, and but this morning he was having none of it. He was up, he was ready to go. So shit for me.
And you've been up ever since.
He doesn't give a shit what time I get or what or how much sleep I've had. So it's gonna be a long day for me.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Yeah.
So man, I gotta say, I think it was certainly a benefit from hearing, from talking to you and hearing about you and your son's relationship and understanding at that point, when we first met back in what, 08 or 09, when your son was younger, from an educational standpoint, that was huge for me, because really there wasn't a lot of information that was out. Now, thankfully, there's a lot more information as far as, and educating the public on those who are on the spectrum. So there's a lot more out there, which is brilliant. I absolutely love it. But for me, it was really eye-opening, and I think it really helped me in talking to folks that are on the spectrum in my chosen career. And there's been a lot more of that now. That it's been going on, but it's huge. It's huge. Knowing how to talk to somebody when you approach them and you feel and you look at the signs and things like that, and you're formulating a plan in your mind, and you're going, okay, it seems as though this person that I'm interacting with now is on the spectrum, and how do I approach, whether they're verbal, nonverbal, whatever the case may be. But it gives me a little bit more time to think and go, okay, so these are the signs that I'm seeing and things like that. And I think it's really important, and we'll try to put up some information. I think Freddie will probably put something as far as links and things like that for people to educate themselves a little bit more with folks that are on the spectrum, and communicating with folks, and understanding that there are so many different levels. And whenever somebody is doing their coping mechanisms and things like that, that you may seem as you may see somebody that's on the spectrum going and dealing with these coping mechanisms that they're, and I'm, for whatever reason, I can't grab the word. It's a specific thing, but sometimes when they have these coping mechanisms, it may seem as though that they're on drugs, or there's something going on. But you have to recognize it as a coping mechanism for somebody that's on the spectrum. So those things are really important, and for folks to deal with, because you have to be able to understand and recognize it, and just give folks time. And if you need help, if there's if somebody's in a situation, somebody that's on the spectrum, because we do have situations sometimes where folks walk out of their homes and they go do certain things, and then we are called because of suspicious activity or what have you, or check on the welfare of a person. And so you're trying to figure out, hey, how can I help this person who you don't really know? So anyway, it's really important, man. And I think that our relationship that we had, and with knowing the things that you told us about your son and your relationship, it helped me being a little more curious about that and to, seek out answers. And then, of course, I've dealt with certainly people that are on the spectrum within my job, and I think that helped me greatly. So, thank you for that.
Oh, yeah. Well, and I applaud you. It's such a hard time, especially if you're approaching someone you have no idea if they're on the spectrum and what I guess I can't grab the word either, but what is their coping mechanism? How can you break through it and let them know you're there to help? And sometimes somebody autistic, they'll just shut down,
Right.
In a certain situation, somebody may just think it's just somebody being an asshole or being, non-cooperative or whatever, and it's not.
Right. Right.
It's actually a medical, situation. So, it's everybody. I wouldn't be educated as much as I am if I didn't deal with it on a daily basis, because it's like most things. I don't have to deal with diabetes. I don't have it. Nobody that I know has it, and so I don't know what you have to go through. And I know there's different levels of it and stuff like that. So, it's hard to imagine things and to educate yourself on things when they don't pertain directly to you. A lot of people don't do that. And then when you have to learn them because of a certain job you do or a certain place where you interact with a lot of people with autism or any medical, disability whatsoever, you start learning real quick, what the hassle, right, what the problems are. And it's a lot, to take care of. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, seriously, thanks for sharing that, with everybody. You've shared it with us privately, but
yeah.
I think, like Matt said, it's going to help people that may not realize certain things.
Yep. Yeah.
So, on that note, Troy, it's awesome seeing you again. We miss you. Miss all the fun we've had and stuff, and glad to see you're still out there playing. You're playing more than we are. That's for sure.
Yeah.
2 shows about as often as there are eclipses.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you guys will be out there doing a few here soon. Your album just dropped. How long ago was it?
6 months, almost 5 months. End of January.
In January.
Yeah. So there's some festivals coming up. We might see you guys out there somewhere.
Yeah, we're gonna work it. So
yeah. Okay. Well, great, you guys. I love you both. Super nice talking to you, and I'll talk to you both soon, I hope. And next time you have some friends coming out to one of my shows, Matt, make sure you tell me.
Absolutely. Yeah. And actually, so, the next time I'm in Indiana, I'll definitely reach out to you, man. See where you're playing. Hell, man, if you're playing every weekend, there's got to be somewhere I can see you.
There is. Yeah. This time, a song you've never heard, an original.
And Troy, just so you know,
the
baby in the microwave joke is still killing to all audiences I tell it to.
Great.
So, thank you for that.
Okay.
Can't see it here, but anyway.
Thank you. Okay. Bye.
See you, man.